What's the camera for?
I'm a WAIF.
Okay.
It's a slow news day.
Yeah.
The case is really slow, yeah.
That's good.
Being a former news director, I know what slow news days are like.
Okay, well, I've got 6 o'clock. We do have a quorum here. We have 7 members here. So I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting of the Anderson Sports and Entertainment Center Advisory Board, Monday, June 2nd, 2014, to order. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from February and April. Do we have copies of them?
Hey, Chase. Do you have minutes? Minutes from February, April?
No, upstairs.
Okay, well, we can do that. Why don't you get them and then we can approve those later in the
Yeah,
agenda.
let's do that. Okay, we'll postpone that till later in the meeting. We do need to elect a new board chairperson and vice chairperson. Do I hear any nominations?
I nominate Steve Lambert.
I second it.
Any other nominations? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, I'll take it. I don't have anything better to do. Okay, new business.
If you want to, Vice Chair.
Oh, vice chair, okay. I nominate Lester for vice chair.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Can we vote
So
yes?
carried?
No.
Okay, unanimous votes on both.
You do know you delegate everything to the vice.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, new business,
Events.
Lynn.
Well, and we basically began last month with the county fair on site. And unlike last year when it got rained out, we had 6 days of very good weather and they had good crowds. And our deal with the fair, of course, is we get 5% of their total gross revenue. And we received a check for $15,284, which was more than twice last year. And it was about $1,500 more than the fair's first year. And of course, this year was our last of our 3-year contract with the Great Anderson County Fair Board. And the county will be issuing an RFP to fair companies. I gave all the details to our purchasing department, and they are going to get the RFP out this month. And like with the pouring rights and another thing, I'm sure we'll get a subcommittee of this board to help staff review and make a recommendation on it. So that's where we are on that. Our goal is to get this done as soon as we can, so whoever gets the bid has sufficient time to prepare for a first-class fair in 2015.
Can I ask a question? Why is the fair the only thing that rents this Civic Center? Why is it the only thing that's got a bid against everybody?
That's a political question. That's above my pay grade.
Tom, could you answer that for us?
Well, I'll just give you my opinion. Since you didn't ask for it, I'll give it to you anyway.
Okay.
Watch me get in trouble. You get this, Jason? Okay. The previous outfit that used to be over at the old fairgrounds, the way I view it, they kind of dumped Anderson. And this group came in, they've done a lot of hard work, they volunteered to come in here and set this whole thing up. They've done a good job. So I'm glad they've got it. If somebody else wants to come in and bid for a fair, why could they not do one in the fall? If they want to put a fall fair on. If the current group wants to do spring, another group do the fall, if they want to do that. If you start bidding on the fair, and again, I'm not even sure in my head where this fuzzy line is between what should be bid on and what shouldn't. What if we have a banjo player wants to come to the Civic Center here and play his banjo? We're going to say, I'm sorry, sir, you're going to have to go out and bid for the banjo, if you want to play here. So where do you divide that line? I don't know. This would actually require a decision of the whole council, I think, too. I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion, like I told you.
Right, well, that's,
So
I
that's
mean,
kind
he
of the
said
way
that was political, so that's why I
yeah,
asked.
and that's kind of the way I look at it. That's where I'm coming from, and I can't settle that question here tonight, but that's my opinion.
Are we gonna make Ringling Brothers bid when they bring the circus in here?
See, there you go. That makes my argument. Do we? They want to come in here and
I mean,
do a
where's
show?
the bidding stop?
Where
like
do
you
where do
say,
you put the line?
All
What's
the way down to the
definition?
banjo player? I agree with you. I'd like to make a recommendation since we got a quorum here that the board that we don't put it out for bids.
If you want to make, if the board was to make that recommendation, and if you were to vote on it, and if you were to approve it, forward it to council. Let the council deal with it.
Okay.
See what-
Well,
what
then
they
I'll
want.
make
I can't
that.
make that decision unilaterally.
Right, I'll make that motion that we do not put the fair out for bids because nobody else bids on anything here at the Civic Center. So I don't, I think we're setting ourselves up for a lawsuit. And I don't think the fair should be put out for bids. And I make a motion that we present this to the county council to have them turn that down.
Do we have a second on his motion?
I'll second.
That was you,
Yes.
Mark?
With a question after that. Is there any other events that get bid on?
Not on here, no.
No, sir.
The only two things I believe are the pouring
Right.
contracts and the
Concessions,
concessions.
and then the fair.
Okay.
So basically, what I'm hearing before we
I'll
vote,
make sure.
just so for discussion, is anybody, and this could include the balloon festival that we put on. We could end up bidding against somebody else
Yep.
wanting to do a balloon festival.
That's right.
So any activity, event, entertainment, whatever, that wants to come in here and say, I'll put on a show for you, we let them put on a show. Now,
They-
if the other circus, and I think we all know what the political issues are here, if the other one wants to put on a carnival too, he can put on a carnival too. But he's gonna have to pick a different date because the one we have has already picked a date. Correct? Okay, am I hearing, based on his opinion, and I have the same opinion, you have the same opinion, and I
Don't let
think,
me influence you.
no,
I
but
was gonna-
we already do. So there's no reason why the other circuits can't come in here and put on the other fair can't put on another fair. And I'll tell you right now, there's a good chance that Balloons Over Anderson may put on a fair this year as well. We've already been approached by another fair company that wants to do it. So that kind of plays into the whole thing. But I don't want to have to go bid for Balloons Over Anderson either.
Well, that's why, I mean, nobody else bid. I'm fixing to book. I'll probably book October the 2nd, for an NRA, fundraiser here. Now, am I gonna eventually have to, get other people to bid against me just having a function here? I mean, Anderson Fair rents this facilities. They do it just like anybody else that puts on anything here. You rent the facility. So why should we pick one thing and make him bid?
Sounds like we're endorsing it though. When you say Anderson County Fair, Anderson County is endorsing the fair. I mean, to me, if it was just Joe Schmo's fair, then it's open. But when you put the Anderson County in there,
Question,
That-
that you already answered, but how many years we've been bidding it out?
We've never bid it
No.
out.
Oh, this is the first year, okay, what's the first year we bidding it out, okay.
The Anderson County Fair is the name that you have to register with the state, and that's like when Straits was over on the other side of town. That's what it was, the Anderson County Fair, and he had that name registered with the state of South Carolina, with the Attorney General's office, and he didn't renew that contract, or that namesake, and so now it's anybody can get it. So they're using the Great Anderson County Fair.
So who would take the initiative or the volunteer to be the one to present to county council prior to this RFP going in?
The
Does
chair.
someone, which
Chairman?
chair?
But you need to carry the vice chair along with you.
Yeah, the vice chair needs to go with me.
That's for moral support.
The vice chair is fired up, so.
If this is going out this month, we need to have it on tomorrow night. I don't know if we get it on the agenda tomorrow night or not.
Yeah, it's too late for tomorrow night.
I mean, it'll go out late this month, if it goes out at all. So you would have the second meeting in June also address this issue.
We can do the 6th or 17th of June.
Yeah, in fact, what I'll do is after this discussion, if the motion passes, I'm gonna tell purchasing to hold off doing any work on it right now until we know for sure if we need to do it.
And just send a letter to council,
Yeah.
you know, only has to be 3 or 4 lines, just, you know. what
Yeah,
you're
I can
thinking.
do a memo to council, basically saying what you guys did,
Okay.
So
if you do it.
If you do it.
what are the negatives of doing this RFP process? And what are the pros and cons?
Did you go to the fair when it was over on the other side of town?
Yeah.
That's who is wanting to come back to Anderson now that Bianca has come in and started the fair. The Mr. Straits, who used to put it on the other side of town, he's wanting to come back, and he made a ridiculous offer, but he didn't specify who was going to put up, because I was at that meeting. He didn't specify to the who did he present that to? The finance committee. He didn't specify who was going to hire law enforcement, who was going to put up temporary fencing. He didn't make none of them specifications. So he could come in here and offer that money, get the bid, and then require the county to put up temporary fencing, require the county to furnish, police protection, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but the RFP is gonna have to spell out
Right.
what's gonna be done. If the fencing's required, whatever. So in all fairness, we have to assume that he's gonna have the same parameters that Ray Bianco would have. So that we're bidding apples and apples and getting it exactly the same. And that's why you do an RFP.
I just think we're fixing to ruin a good thing. I mean, the man's got a good fair. He, has a lot of security. Food's good, all that kind of stuff. And if you make him bid, I think we're gonna lose him. I honestly do.
I think another thing to look at too, it seems to me that this whole thing is revolving around only one type of an event, a fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nobody else.
Nobody-
It's only because, well, the fair groups are kind of like this.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason. And I don't think we should make a total exception just because there's two groups wanting to do the same single thing. If we do that, then you might have to do everybody that wants to come into the Civic
Yep.
Center.
And then then you might as well shut the doors, because ain't nobody gonna be coming. Ain't nobody gonna be bidding.
So just make sure I have the backstory. So it sounds like the finance committee's already met up and have been presented about this. Is that what I heard? The finance committee, Bruce Finance
That was
Committee?
3 years ago,
Yeah,
Chase.
that was easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, so we're down the road. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. This wasn't a recent thing.
You were still in college then.
Yeah, I was still there. That was before my time on the board. Okay, I was blown.
Okay, we received $15,000 from the fair for the six nights. My understanding is that they rented the whole complex plus the building.
Yes.
I'm not saying it would have been rented, but if it had been rented to individual people, what would that week's rent have been?
Well, to give you an example, we host the state high school wrestling tournament every February. They are literally in this building for 27 hours, and we receive an $8,800 rent payment from them.
So if we could rent it, if it was rented to other entities during that 6 period of time, we'd get more money out of it.
We potentially could, yes.
Because I didn't think that 15,000 is a lot of money, but I didn't think it was for the amount of space and everything they had that right, man. And the way the fair is, nothing else can go on at that time.
Correct. Well, the sports center is still.
I understand, I'm talking about this building
Yes.
and this grounds here.
But now, isn't that percentage supposed to increase over the years, Glenn?
The 3-year deal that we had with the fair, which has expired, was at 5% of total gross revenue. Certainly, we will seek more revenue for future contracts now that the fair has established itself.
Let me ask another question. What is dictating this RFP right now? Are you being told you have to do an RFP right now?
Yes,
Okay.
Rusty directed me to do get the RFP going.
But if we as a board make a recommendation that that doesn't happen, that we just, go ahead and keep using the same people we've been using, then, that's presented to the council and then council votes on it, then if it's a 4-3 vote, then it wins.
Well, I guess what I'm more concerned with, if we set a precedence for all events to come in here, forget the fair, just say any event that wants to come in here, we need to be able to allow any event to come in here and put on a show for us, no matter what it is. If we happen to have 2 people that want to do something at the very same time,
Whoever
then
books it first.
whoever books it first would be the one to get it. It's like, that's the only way I see it.
Well, it's always
around it.
worked.
But the fair is only paying a percentage, so you're not guaranteed anything out of it except for percentage of the base. You're not getting what any individual comes in here and pays you for.
Correct.
You don't know if you're gonna get $5,000, if you're gonna get $50,000 at the fair.
It's true.
That's true.
And that would be true of any fair group coming in.
Right.
Yeah, that's just,
I think if one way to get around this, I think, is you on this RFP or bidding out the building, say it's a 5-day event or more, and bid it out at that time instead of each individual, say 1 night or 2 nights or 3 nights thing. Say if it's over a five-day event, you have to be bidded out.
Well, let me
Okay.
I'm just throwing out suggestions. It don't matter.
let me add a little bit more to it. How many times a year does he rent this place? Not Bianca, to put on concerts.
Well, it just depends. I know he does it one time, but he may book 2 or 3 concerts.
But he does do concerts in the amphitheater
Yes.
and that kind of stuff. He brings other events here other than just the fair. So we can't say we just made $15,000 off of him and that's it. I mean, we make money off of him all year long. So do you want somebody to come in here and give you a little bit more money for that 1 week and then never see him again until the next year? Or do you want somebody that lives here locally, that pays taxes locally, to be involved in renting a Civic Center and doing a lot more than just 1 week a year?
do you know, just ballpark figure, how many events are there here a year that would be more than 5 days, just for an arguing point?
Just the fair.
Just the fair is the only thing.
Yeah. Actually, the consignment sale is here for like a week because they have to set up and then sell and then take down. So we have 2 consignment sales a year. One in August, and is the other one in March? In March. Those 2 are also here for more than 5 days. But outside of that,
What kind of money we make off of that?
We bring in about, for the consignment sale, is about $6,000, but that's gonna change this year. And then,
Be higher or lower?
it'll be higher. Yeah, we kinda,
How does that work, the consignment sale? Is that just where people bring in?
yeah, they
Things.
bring in and they pretty much, this lady sells, from what I can gather, she sells their stuff for them, they get a percentage back.
So it's like a big flea
It's
market?
just- Yeah, just a big flea market.
it's like the jockey lot without animals.
Is there anybody else that rented the Civic Center for 6 days or more
Home and garden show,
that paid us more than $15,284?
no.
Okay.
The Home and Garden Show is only what, three days?
It's,
Yeah.
they're in here from Wednesday to Sunday.
Wednesday to Sunday.
That's loading, setting up and actually
Right.
days
Yeah.
of show is just, Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Well, have we gotten anywhere with this motion or not? Well,
We've got a second.
well,
We,
we got a second. We needed to vote on, after the discussion, any more discussion, I should say.
there you go.
Well, I'm sure that there'll be a certain type of contract drawn up for an event like this, since it's like, you know, one of a kind. If somebody else, if Straits comes in and wants to put on a fair, okay, how many days you want it, what you want, okay, here's what you can have the Civic Center for. Just like any other event, depending on the length and what they want, you know, here's what we'll rent it to you for. And then it'll be up to him whether he wants to gamble with the weather or not.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's
Yeah.
why, that's
I know
why
it'll
they,
cut the percentage bases out, but how much did we make last year?
For the, last year,
Yeah.
we, about $7,200 last year with the rain. And then 14,000 the first year when they had 5 days of good weather.
Right. So I mean, it'll be up to them to take the gamble, just like when your event comes to town.
Right.
You know, you rent the place and the rest is up to the good Lord above whether you make it or break it.
Right.
So,
All right, so the motion that we're gonna vote on is to take this to council as an advisory board recommendation to not do the RFP for the fair.
right.
That's what we're
One other
voting.
question before you vote, how many more events other than the fair comes in on a percentage basis?
The concerts that we do in the amphitheater with Ray Bianco are the same deal, the 5% of total gross revenue. And that's pretty much it. Everybody else we get rent from. And sometimes we do get like $1 or $2 per ticket, but we also get rent, so we're guaranteed some income.
The slide guy was, what was it, he paid like $1 a ticket, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
which was, you know, and we furnished him water.
He paid for the water too.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Okay, I thought we furnished it.
Any other questions, discussions? Okay, who, see a vote of hands on who wants to, vote of hands of who do we take this forward to the council as an advisory board?
To
All in
approve it?
favor?
Okay.
To approve, yes, to approve it,
I'm gonna abstain.
okay. One abstention, and I guess I'll vote to approve too, so, okay, so 6-1 approved. And I guess you and I and Lester will get together and put a presentation, not for tomorrow, but for 2 weeks,
17th.
17th.
Okay, second item of new business. If it had been a perfect world, Big Time Wrestling would have packed the arena last Friday. But they didn't like the way advanced ticket sales were going, so they basically pulled out and did not have their event. And we tried to tell them that WWE was here and they sold out. This market is a walkout market. You're going to sell out. It's just going to wait until the last minute. But they got cold feet and decided not to do their event with us, which is too bad because we think it would have been like WWE. We would have had 2,000 people in the building, and it would have been a real good event for us.
How many advance ticket sales have there been on that event?
Terry? I can't tell you. We didn't have that many here, and I don't know how many he had online.
Okay.
But we had tons of calls the week before last and last week. You know, people inquired about getting tickets, and we just had to tell them they just pulled the plug on.
What was the price of this ticket?
They were 17 for the riser seating, 32. Was it 32 for the second tier, the ringside,
And 50.
and 52 for actual first 3 rows on ringside.
Was that the same prices as for the WWE?
No,
It's cheaper.
It was cheaper than WWE.
WWE was selling ringside seats for $95.
this is, the big time wrestling's got your older guys, real old guys. Ric Flair, I guess you could call them the legends of
Yeah.
pro wrestling.
Tommy Ziegler.
Tommy Ziegler, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
But,
Oh, that
I
would
know,
be
I
funny.
think it's got my mind to pack this place out.
I do not want to see Tommy over here in a pair of Speedos.
Oh, man. Okay.
Third item under ASEC events is the Anderson Phoenix Arena football team. Tommy, you got me thinking Tommy Siegler. Terry and I met with a gentleman who actually had a franchise for a Anderson Arena football team, and we talked to him about coming into our building, and we even gave him some prices, and we haven't heard from him since.
How long ago was that?
We met with him last month. Did we?
March 24th.
Okay.
Excuse me, April 25th.
Mhm.
I sent him an email out last week I called him today and didn't get a hold of him. Just asking, what was going on, because they had a meeting on May 17th was a league meeting, and I have not heard back from him, but he's got our proposal, and just waiting to hear back from him.
And the league wasn't going to start play till 2015.
Yeah. It's going to be it'll run March to July. There'll be like 6 to 8 home games, and
These aren't by chance the same people that tried to do the semi-pro baseball Anderson Joe's here a few years ago, is it?
Different.
No. But Terry and I did have that discussion prior to the
I think
meeting.
he's in jail right now.
Oh, is he?
So-
They tried to get us to bring our balloon out there and,
Yeah. So if anything happens with the arena football, we'll certainly let you guys know. But based on
Do we have enough room?
Yes,
to
we
do
do.
And have seating?
yes, they basically need an 85-foot wide field,
Okay.
and we can do that with plenty of.
And how long?
How many? It was 140 feet or 50 feet?
Really?
I think.
and then half of a
50
football
yards.
field.
No, it's 50 yards long. 50 yards long
Yeah.
with 8-yard end zones. That's 66 yards total, and 28.5 yards wide.
Is this the same size arena that we see on the TV televised?
It's just a basic. It's just a basic ice hockey rink. Is all it is.
Okay. Okay.
So, moving on to operations, you have in your packet a small version of the master plan. And again, this was funded as part of our year 2 capital improvement plan. We thought since we did not have a master plan for the complex that we could find, it would behoove us to have a master plan created. And let me walk you through it. And a lot of what's on here is already here. So I'll just kind of highlight the new stuff. Okay, number 3. This is the dog park that we're going to be building this summer. It's not numbered, but this is where the bathroom will go by the tennis courts this summer. And then this is the proposed location for the Miracle Field. And again, to give you a perspective, that's Kid Venture. So that'd be the Miracle Field. And then these 2 brown lines, these are the 2 bocce ball courts we're going to do in Chris Taylor Park this summer. Okay? The new stuff is actually on the other side of MLK. This is the Recycling Education Center, and they basically have a mud run course lined out there. And then this is real pie in the sky. This is millions of dollars that we don't have, and I don't think anybody else has, but this is the concept for what the balloon launch field could become, with 3 soccer fields, a baseball field, some sand volleyball courts, parking for 170 cars, and some bocce ball courts. So again, this is unfunded. This is just us dreaming big, and in case somehow money comes our way, at least we can say, well, hey, here's a way you could spend it. So, the mud run, we could do a mud run tomorrow out of the Recycling Education Center. That's not going to cost any money. This is where the big dollars are. And again, it's unfunded. It's just our architect and staff's best effort at what we could do with the 35 acres. That's the balloon launch field. And this would not preclude balloons from launching here because the fields would not be lit and there wouldn't be fencing, so the balloonists could still go up. And they could still go up from Recycling Education Center as well. And of course over here on Campson they could go up from too. So,
What
but every,
about parking though? Because that eliminates a lot of parking areas.
yes, it does. I mean, it provides parking for about 170 cars. There are also some bathrooms scattered around here too.
What was number 10 again?
Number 10, that's a mud run.
Oh, that would be your mud run.
Mud run, yes.
Okay.
And the gentleman who does A-Town Volleyball has talked to Todd about doing a mud run. So that would certainly be where we could do it. Because there are about 45 acres here, and really the only part that's really used right now is the top where the recycling center is.
So what are those big white, light colored areas? Is that where the mud run would be? I see 3 of them there. What is that?
No, that's just the existing grass.
Oh, that's what
Yeah,
that
the mud
is.
run would basically follow the road network.
Oh,
And we have another graphic that I didn't bring that kind of shows where various pits could be, and I kind of I soured on mud run when I saw the guy in Greenville got paralyzed by jumping
Right.
into a pit recently, and we don't usually have things that threaten lives around here. So, but again, a lot of this stuff is already here. I mean, there's the soccer fields, all the baseball fields, the amphitheater, the civic center, the parking lot, Chris Taylor Park. The disc golf course is even in there, and the tennis courts. So really, the new stuff is over here. But again,
Does any of it make us any money?
well, certainly, yes. All of
Okay.
these fields would be rented. Yes, that would
Okay.
make us money. And we would certainly charge the mud run guy to use that land. Yes, we would.
Okay.
All right, Kid Venture's been there for quite some time.
Yes, it has.
How's the condition of it? How's the maintenance going of it? Is there any problems with it? Where are we?
Todd?
All right, I'm getting smiles here.
No.
It's getting old.
Yeah.
We need to look at redoing it, but there's just nothing, the funding for it, that went away
Right,
16
yeah.
years ago when we did it. So we're piecing it together, keeping it going the best we can. Really, we talked about it. We need to update it. We need to just actually go in there and take care of get some of the stuff out, because it's just not.
If that's something that we need to do, obviously I was not on the committee that far back. And where the community gets involved again and kind of upgrade.
It'd be nice to do that. We need
Yeah.
to probably take that middle section out where the tower is. That's where most of the problem is, because the issue comes up, you can't see in there. And that's where a lot of the stuff's happening. People are getting on top. We've already taken part of it off, but that's just a sore subject sometimes. But we really need to get in there and just take care of that.
And last summer, our county building and grounds department did spend basically a week at Kid Venture addressing some issues.
And we had Lowe's come in, they partnered with us and painted it all, which was nice. So
Was Kid Venture originally when it was put up, was that more of a community project? Or
it was a community project.
Was it
There was-
100% community?
Right, and there was $10,000 put into an account to take care of it, and that ran out.
Yeah. Well, however that got cranked up before, maybe that could be done again to make it a community project.
If somebody contacted Lowe's, I'm sure they would partner up again to do.
We're doing something June 19th with Home Depot's come in now, because they found out Lowe's, so why not? So they're coming in and they're gonna do the sports complex, the entrance, the circle in front of the sports complex. They're gonna do that, they're gonna paint all the tables in there. They're doing mulch, they're bringing us more trees to plant in there. They're taking, inside the park, they're gonna work with us on partnering there. And
Do we charge anything for the use of that
for,
Kid Venture? Do we charge?
no,
No.
I need to ask a question. Can the 2-cent hospitality fee pay for all those plans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
even though it's not tourist related?
it is towards.
That stuff would be tourist related.
Everything
That
on
would-
there.
that would
Kid,
be-
but the
Not-
Kid Venture,
Not Kid Venture.
but that's
no.
what he's asking, right?
No, I'm speaking about all
Talking
the
about the
plans.
master plan.
whole thing, okay.
Yeah.
Kid
Mhm. Any other questions on the master plan? Okay. Moving on, the pouring contract with Coke went into effect on May 20th. They haven't moved into the building yet. Pepsi's in the process of moving out. And we're really looking forward to the relationship with Coke, and they'll be putting Coke signs at all of our ball fields and at the concession stands, and they have a 3-year deal with 2 1-year options, which is the same thing that Pepsi had, and they're paying us more money than Pepsi did, so we're really looking forward to that.
What has happened to the concessions?
It's gone nowhere. It's still.
Can we get some input on that from you?
So,
The back 3-4 months ago, we as a committee and a group voted we did an RFP for the concession contract. We had 2 vendors submit proposals. We as a group voted on which one to accept. We presented it to purchasing, and it's still sitting in purchasing.
and I have no comment. It's still sitting in purchasing. I don't know.
Can we ask you to find out
I'll do that.
when, because there is no concession right now on contract here with the Civic Center, no company, and
Basically, our current concessionaire is like on a month-to-month agreement with us.
Okay. All right.
and my understanding is that they're not the best concessionaire to have.
Okay. I'll check, yeah.
Okay, moving on. On the backside of your master plan, information on our duck management plan at Chris Taylor Park. This is something I'm really excited about because we've come a long way. If you remember last year when the dam failed in July, we had to have an animal rescue group led by Izzy's Pond come in, and they pulled 88 domestic ducks off the pond area at Chris Taylor Park. And once the dam was fixed, we sat down a couple months ago with Izzy's Pond to come up with a duck management plan so we don't get ourselves into this situation again. And part of the plan was coming up with signage, and you see the animal dumping signs and the signs educating people that bread and ducks don't mix. And that is working. Clarence and Todd have both told me they've seen people taking loaves of bread back to their cars because they know they're not supposed to feed it to the ducks. And then a few weeks ago, a company out of Sevierville, Tennessee called Vaulted Vending approached Terry because they had seen the news coverage of our duck problem. And they basically proposed an awesome solution that is costing us nothing. They provide the duck food vending machines, they maintain the machines, they get the machines filled, they collect the money from the machines, and we get half the revenue from the machines, just for allowing them on our property. And the machines have been a smash hit. There are some nights where people are waiting in line to buy duck food at these machines. And also, Todd was telling me that the litter in the park has really gotten a lot less bad because people aren't dropping bread on the ground, they aren't dropping plastic bags on the ground. So it really, in 2 weeks, and that's how long these machines have been in, it has really turned things around. And it's great that it's costing us no money, and we'll actually make money off it.
What a simple solution.
And credit to the public for responding to it, for heeding the signs. And the one thing we have to keep an eye on is that we don't get domestic ducks being dumped at the park, and that's the big concern.
What was the problem though? You were mentioning there's a problem with the ducks. Is that it? The domestic ducks, or was it the number of ducks? Or?
It was the fact that people just kept dumping domestic ducks at the park, and they were mating with each other, and it was just multiplying.
Yeah.
That was the problem. See, the federally protected ducks, the mallards and the Canadian geese, they're fine. They can fly away. They can defend themselves. The domestics can't. They can't fly. They can't swim very well. They're kind of just sitting targets. And once the water went down at that pond, they literally, I mean, if we hadn't gotten them rescued, they would have died, is what would have happened. So we don't want to get into that situation again. And I think we're on the right path. And if anybody has any quarters, go over to the park after the meeting and feed yourself some ducks.
So it's just wild ducks that are there now?
No, there are 6 domestics that have been dumped there.
Okay.
That's it so far. And hopefully with our signage, we won't get more.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, it's a way to generate some money and
Yeah.
trash down.
And I'll let you know when we get our first check how much it's for. We're not counting on being able to re-roof the Civic Center with this income, but it'll be nice. Moving on to the Sports Center. Todd kind of took care of item 2, which is the Home Depot workday. He did a masterful job of playing Home Depot off against Lowe's and So now both of them had done projects for us in consecutive years out here, so that's nice, and we certainly appreciate their work. May 1st was the first day of year 3 of the capital improvement plan at the Sports Center. Again, we're spending $95,000 a year to make improvements, and a lot of noticeable stuff is going to happen in year 3. Well, Todd has already purchased the removable football goalposts, and we'll of course use those in the fall for football practice. Purchasing and Todd are working on the RFP for the 2 bocce ball courts we're going to build in Chris Taylor Park. We've signed a contract, we the county has signed a contract with Alta Planning and Design to design and engineer the dog park in Miracle Field. And the dog park will get built this year, and the Miracle Field is scheduled for next year. And then the bathroom building for down near the tennis courts has been ordered. And again, we're ordering a factory-built concrete bathroom that comes in on a truck. It's been ordered, it'll get here in July, and we should have first flush by the end of July. And if anybody wants to volunteer for first flush, just send me an email. We can maybe make it happen. So that's a lot of exciting stuff's going to happen in year 3. The things that people will be able to see and use. And it's just really fun. What else did you have from the Sports Center, Todd?
We have the cities, we have adult softball and co-ed softball. Their playoffs will start in another 2 weeks. The girls' fast pitch is playing. Under 14 baseball is playing. We have 2 club teams using the 2 back fields. So pretty much every field's take care of. The Cavaliers, if you go out here tonight, the Cavaliers, it's like an independence, homeschool kids. They had a kid sign with Clemson this year, which was a big surprise. Big for them because it's, they get kids from all over to come here and play. They're just finishing up. We had the Electric City Chargers, for all you know, it's a semi-pro football team from Anderson. They competed last week in the semifinals and won, and haven't heard from them yet, but they were playing in the championship in Atlanta Saturday. So that's been a real big thing. And a new thing we just picked up, it's called the Anderson Sports and Social Club. It started in Charleston. Perry Freeman's doing it. They've moved. They got something started in Greenville. Now they're starting here, and they'll start tomorrow night with a kickball league on the soccer fields. So he has 6 teams right now, but June, I want to say the 14th, he's doing a 7-on-7 flag football. Everything they do is co-ed. And so we've got them in here now. We're trying to start the kickball league. They have volleyball. They do flag football, so we're just trying to incorporate it. He's just starting out fresh, but it's something new. We have a girl, Stastny Howard, who does a kickball on Sundays here. 300 people on one field. 300 people play kick. It's amazing. But, Sundays is, a down day for us. We have one of the club teams practices baseball out the back, and then they use our batting cages. So it's been good. We had USSSA baseball here this weekend on fields 6 and 7. We had 8 teams. We had teams from Asheville here, and I think a team from Georgia here. So they were here for the weekend, which it makes it really nice. Oakwood just finished their baseball season. Oakwood Christian School, Anderson Christian School, they both play here too on fields 6 and 7 and field 14. And when I'm in talks right now with Anderson Christian School and Oakwood about building. They want to build another field out here they can call their own, a small field, 250. So I just got that conversation started with them yesterday. So we're trying to find out what we can do about that. And they want to do it. And then when they're not using it, we could use it as another field. We turn this, like Glenn said, we turn this back field into an all-purpose field. So you can play kickball, baseball. I just got the removable goalposts put up for that. And it's the field 5 back here. So the ones we had, they were donated. A guy made them and then gave them to the Anderson Christian School, and then the Chargers, they both paid for it. We ordered those, so they'll be nice. The bocce ball courts was all started with Special Pops. We went in partnership, and I said if we're going to do it, we need to do it the right way. So they will use that up there, and it'll be right behind Kid Venture.
Where are you gonna put that extra ball field?
That's the main problem. We needed to keep it over on this side. He just wants to look at it, but he said, we're willing to do whatever we need to do. So if somebody's going to build something, they're going to do it for nothing. We'll find some spot. I'll find a spot for it. It's a 250 field. It's not a big 300-foot field.
Oh, okay.
They want to do a smaller field, so we'll look at that. So
Hey, Todd, is there a bocce ball league or something here in town, or?
no, it's most of the people played at the beach.
Yeah.
But Special Pops has been playing, doing some stuff with it, and it's caught on. And the guy that did our batting cages, the company right here on Whitehall, has designed some before. So he's
Yeah, Tom, bocce ball is a Special Olympic sport. So our Special Olympics Area 14 athletes will certainly practice at the courts, but when they're not using them, anybody can use them. It's a very popular sport with Italian
I was
Americans.
gonna say, you don't have to be Italian, do you?
You do not.
No.
I've never played it, I'd like to.
Half Irish people like you can certainly do it. Yeah.
But that being, and another big thing that's caught on is the A-Town volleyball. I don't know if you've been reading it. They used we got them involved, and I got them together with Terry. They were looking for a rental space, and they went 3 months with us, or 4 months? 3 or 4 months with us. They used the back of the gym with that portable floor we bought years ago, and we built them through our shop, and I have a great guy in the shop now. He can weld anything. We built 3 volleyball courts and stanchions that we used off the old court metal that we had from when Clemson basketball played here. So the A-Town volleyball, they have a big tournament this weekend, and they'll play Saturday, and they start like 8 in the morning, and they go through the whole day, which is good. So, and then CASA soccer and CISA soccer just ended. They did a tryouts last week, so they'll pick back up with a team camp at the end of July. And I still have them, we call the Mexican soccer league. They play on Sundays. So, and he's been with me coming up on 9 years now. And they play on Wednesdays, and their league plays on Sundays. So everything's gone good. And I just in a conversation today, I'm looking about bringing a wrestling club in, not pro wrestling, but a wrestling club. I used to coach wrestling. I referee now. My sons have wrestled, but with Belton, Crescent, and Hannah. Lance Addison runs a club. I used to have a club, Electric City Club. We're going to try to combine it. They're looking for a place to go, so I got to get with Terry, Tamora, and get with Lance. So we're going to bring a wrestling club in, which will be easy. I can get the match from West Side. We can just roll them up at night, but nobody uses that back part of that gym. If we can get 2 matches, we can. He's got 40-some kids right now, and he's trying to do it out of his garage. It's not working. So
Cool. Good. I know summer's a quiet time in the Civic Center, Terry, but what do we have coming up?
Let's see. This month we've got Haven Rest coming in. They're going to do a fundraiser concert on the 27th. Of course, we have the elections office having their returns held here. Home Builders Association's having their state meeting here on the 25th. We've got a gospel play coming in on the 30th. Let's see. And then in July, Michelin will be here on the 4th for their Family Fun Day. Forest College graduates, got a wedding reception. Let's see. I got a lady that's going to do a concert for abused, or a gentleman's going to do a concert for abused women on the 25th. That's tentative. And then Tri-County Tech's graduation will be on July 31st. And then once August starts, we don't have any open weekends in August. Don't have anything in September. We've got one in October, nothing in November, and December is filled up until after Christmas.
Are these concerts using the amphitheater, or are they indoor,
They're going to be in the amphitheater.
outside?
One item I forgot to tell you under operations. A couple meetings ago I mentioned we were in the middle of a lighting upgrade in this building, and the upgrade is finished, and the results are pretty amazing. Last month, this building used 20,000 kilowatt hours less power than it did for the same month the year before. And Mark's in the power business. I think that's a lot of power.
Yeah, I hate that too.
But, here's the flip side.
Our raise.
There went your raise.
We're using less power, but the rates went up, so our bill is the same.
Oh, man.
So if we hadn't done the upgrade, we would have been paying a lot more for power. But it is working for this building, and also the old and new courthouses also got the same upgrade, so I'm sure they're experiencing the same savings in power. Yeah.
Okay. Any old business we need to discuss? I think we covered everything. I did get a copy of the minutes, so let's vote on that real quick. It was, the last meeting we had was very short and sweet because we didn't have a full group, and it was basically the county staff updated us on all the same things. They updated us, so do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Lester, and you second, Laura seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No?
Next
Okay.
meeting's in August. Thank you all for being here. And don't forget, take your quarters up to Chris Taylor Park and feed the ducks.
Don't leave yet, I need to talk to you just for a second. Lester, if you got a minute before, so we can kind of strategize.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure it's probably that open door they're talking
Be sure to turn your name in, Tom.
Will they do one in conjunction with his balloon
No,
festival?
no, we won't do that again.
Oh, I thought it was, well, no, okay.
It didn't, we're gonna do a Jeep thing
Okay.
with four-wheel drive, so we're gonna have a Jeep show.
I know they have Liberty does, the Liberty they have 5, 6.
Yes, they do.
Of course, they have a pretty nice prize.
That's the key.
You should, it would be a good show. I went to a little summer festival.
Uh-huh.
See ya.
They have them such in
I don't know, cars seem to be